So, we all know that Godzilla is an extremely powerful monster, right? There's a reason why he's called King of the Monsters. He's maybe the most powerful monster that's ever been created in the film universe. But which five Godzillas are the most powerful? Yeah, which five are the most powerful on screen? Which five were the toughest for any monster to beat? So today, I'm going to give my opinion on which five Godzilla designs, incarnations, are the most powerful. But first, before we get to the list, we're going to start off with an honorable mention. So let's get on to our honorable mention. So guys, here's our honorable mention, Shin Godzilla. Yeah, Shin Godzilla is a really powerful monster. And he's basically a beam Godzilla. Like, he shoots a beam out of his mouth, he shoots a beam out of his tail, and also he shoots all these beams out of his back. And the beams were just going through buildings like a hot knife through warm butter. This Godzilla is all about the beams. He's shooting tons of beams, and it's just crazy. It just demolishes cities. But the reason why he's not on the list, the real list, is because after he uses all of his beams, all of his atomic breath, he goes into the shutdown mode, this cooldown stage. And if another monster is in the area and he survives all the beam attacks from Shin, Shin won't last. Shin won't survive because he's basically in a shutdown form. Even though the military attacks don't do anything when he's in a shutdown stage because they cancel, he's got kind of a shield around him when he's in a shutdown stage, a monster can penetrate that field. So that's what keeps him from being on the top 5 list. But yeah, still a powerful Godzilla. So that's the honorable mention. Now let's get on to the real list. Let's get on to number 5. Alright guys, we're on to the real list, and here's number 5. GMK. I know what I said in a previous video where I said Barney Godzilla and GMK were the equally powerful. But I made some decisions. I looked over all the Godzillas carefully and figured out there's 2 more Godzillas that are more powerful than this guy. So GMK is a very powerful monster nonetheless. He's a very powerful Godzilla. He's literally made from the dead souls of the Japanese soldiers from World War II. And he's got this drive to just destroy everything in his path. He destroys 3 monsters in the movie, the Guardian monsters of Earth, Baragon, Mothra, and Ghidorah. And even when Ghidorah got his power up from Mothra, Ghidorah was doing pretty good against Godzilla, but when Ghidorah used his electric, his beams, his gravity beams, the electricity enhanced Godzilla's atomic breath. And when he shot it at Ghidorah, Ghidorah was dead. Ghidorah died. So yeah, even in Ghidorah's most powerful stage in that movie, he still wasn't enough to kill Godzilla. So yeah, number 5, GMK. He's a very, very powerful Godzilla. He's very powerful. Don't underestimate this guy in a fight if he's gonna fight another monster. So yeah, that is my number 5. All right, guys, moving on to number 4. All right, guys, here we're on to number 4, and what I think is the most powerful Millennium version of Godzilla, Godzilla Final Wars. Yeah, this figure's not the best impression, not the best figure of Final Wars, but it's the only Final Wars figure I have, so what else was I going to use? So yeah, Final Wars Godzilla, the reason why he's a little higher than GMK is because of all the monsters he dispatches. He dispatches of all the monsters, of all these other monsters, I think it's 10 he dispatches, and he was able to dispatch them in such short time. I'm not the best at snapping on this hand. Why can I talk? Such short time. He was able to dispatch them so quickly. He even took down 3 at once. So yeah, and here's the thing. He survived a meteor that leveled an entire city, and he didn't even flinch. And when he got the Kaiser power up, he was even more powerful. He was able to dispatch of Kaiser Ghidorah, which is questionably Godzilla's toughest enemy he's ever had to fight. So yeah, that's why he's number 4. There's a reason why number 3, number 2, and number 1 are even more powerful than this guy. But if those guys weren't there, this guy would probably be number one. But yeah, he's an extremely powerful force of nature. When I think of forces of nature, I think of this guy. I think of this Godzilla. And he's an extremely powerful Godzilla. And there's a reason why he's my number 4. So that's that for number 4. Alright guys, moving on to number 3. Alright guys, so number 3, we have the newest Godzilla. Godzilla 2019. Yeah, the largest on-screen version, the largest live-action Godzilla. So that gives him points right there. He's maybe the best physical fighting Godzilla out there. So there's another point. And he gets extremely enhanced by nuclear bombs. I know in the past he's been enhanced by nuclear bombs, but this took it to a completely different level. He was reaching critical mass in his final battle with Ghidorah, and he was going to explode. But he didn't, and there's a bunch of reasons why maybe he didn't. Because maybe when Ghidorah dropped him from the sky, there was like a big blue plume that came from Godzilla's back, and maybe that stopped the explosion. But this Godzilla, even before he got enhanced by nuclear bombs, he was insanely powerful too. He held his own against Ghidorah, and he tore one of his heads off. And mind you, he fought a monster, and he killed a monster from another world that can grow their heads back in an instant. He defeated a monster, yeah, from another world entirely. And also, when he's in his fire stage, he's questionably the most powerful monster ever. When he's in his fire stage, there was like nothing could affect him. Like when Ghidorah was using his gravity beams against Godzilla in his fire stage, like he grinned kind of, like he just looked at him like, wow, this is nothing. Because in his fire stage, again, like I said, he's questionably the most powerful Godzilla ever. But he can't hold that fire stage for long. He was only being able to use it for 2 nuclear pulses. And that was basically it for Fire Godzilla. And that's how he killed Ghidorah. That was the only way he was ever able to kill Ghidorah. But all that aside, he's an extremely powerful monster. And mind you, he took 2 nuclear bombs to the face. To the face. Taking nuclear bombs that have megatons, mind you, a megaton is 1 million tons. So yeah, like 50 megatons. I don't know how many megatons those bombs were, but they were extremely powerful. And mind you, all that pressure to the face, takes a lot of power to, survive that. Yeah, that's why he's my number 3. Mind you, you can swap number 2 and number 3, the number 2 and number 3 spot, because it was so hard to decide who was number 2 and who was number 3. You can swap those 2. But yeah, what I think is number 3 or number 2. It depends. So yeah, that's why it's number 3 on the list. That is that. So alright guys, we're moving on to number 2. Number 2, questionably the most powerful live action Godzilla, Burning Godzilla. Yeah, Burning Godzilla is literally a walking nuclear bomb. His beam is maybe questionably the most powerful beam in the Godzilla universe. He's a great physical fighter. He's got good size. He was 100 meters. And he took down Destroyer, basically. Destroyer was made from the weapon that killed the original Godzilla. And also, he was going to destroy the world. He was going to implode, and it was going to destroy the entire world. But the reason why he didn't is because the military used their weapons to cool them down, keep the damage to a minimum. But yeah, a Godzilla that is capable of eradicating the entire world, that gives him a lot of points. And yeah, here's also a good point to factor. While Godzilla 2019 only kept his fire stage for only a little bit of time, this kept it throughout the entire movie. Yeah, this is a Godzilla just surging with radiation, and his nuclear pulses are off the chart. His infinite spiral array took out Destroyer in just a couple blasts. And yeah, maybe questionably the most powerful live action Godzilla ever. So yeah, that is my number 2. And number 1 there was no doubt who number one was going to be. But what guy can defeat Burning Godzilla? This Godzilla can be more powerful than Burning Godzilla. The anime Godzilla. Number one, he's got an electromagnetic shield surrounding his body, so no attacks can hurt him. 2, his abilities. He's got a beam, a super oscillatory wave, and when he like swishes his tail like that, it creates like a beam and just levels everything. Number 3, his size. He's 300 freaking meters. That's insane. It's insane. It's the largest Godzilla ever. And he's over 100,000 tons. But I don't think his weight is even measurable. How are you going to measure that weight? It's huge. Number 4, durability. This guy survived 150 nuclear warheads going off at once in his 50-meter stage. And the only monster that was able to questionably like give him a really tough time was the Ghidorah from that trilogy. And here's the thing, Ghidorah was from another dimension, and Ghidorah, the Earth's laws didn't affect Ghidorah. Here's the thing, Ghidorah was able to touch Godzilla, and Godzilla wasn't able to touch Ghidorah. And also, when Godzilla fired his beam at Ghidorah, it curved. And Ghidorah wasn't able to be picked up on the human sensors, because there had to be a guide for Ghidorah. But once there was a guide for Ghidorah, Ghidorah didn't even stand. Once the guide for Ghidorah was killed, Ghidorah didn't stand a chance. Godzilla would just win in that fight. And yeah, definitely the most powerful Godzilla ever. And I mean ever. I don't think there's ever going to be a Godzilla that's more powerful than this. So yeah, guys, that is my list. Comment down below, what are your top 5 most powerful Godzilla incarnations? And guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm almost at 60 subscribers, and that's awesome. Thank you guys for liking my videos. Thank you guys for commenting on my videos. Thank you guys for subscribing. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And yeah, make sure, again, to like, comment, and subscribe.